Maybe poker's just not your game, Mike.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ito from the Nerdthusiast Poker Podcast here with Brian, not the man, Keen, and we are back for yet again another awesome podcast. And we got an interview, Brian. We got another interview lined up here.
Special guest, yeah. We got Will O'Connor from BetMGM here with us, trying to give us a little bit of insight into how things are going in the poker world with BetMGM. A little bit with Borgata, a little bit with some upcoming things out in Vegas. So without further ado, let's get started.
Yeah, Will O'Connor from BetMGM. So let's start with this. Will, what's your official title role at the BetMGM company?
So first off, guys, thank you so much for having me on the podcast ahead of what's a really exciting time for BetMGM, but just poker in general. East Coast Vegas, like you said, Brian, it's happening everywhere. But my official title with BetMGM, Senior Manager of Poker Marketing, position I've had for a little over a year now. And with that role, just get to learn and work with, an industry-leading gaming team to really bring a poker product to life. And the largest part of connecting or bringing that brand to life is connecting these online platforms to property events. And you talked about, a little bit before we went live, just, my intro into the poker world. And I live and breathe kind of that live event space, whether it's content, media, marketing, working with some of the biggest brands in poker, not only in the East Coast, Borgata, but, across the country, Poker Night America, Poker Go on my resume, I guess you can say. But honestly, now I get to take everything I've learned from those amazing experiences in the poker world and bring that to the online side of the business with BetMGM. That makes me so excited to, really tap into what I know, which is that live space, that live poker space, but then also be able to connect the online side of things as well. And like I said, looking back, always involved in content, media, marketing, but just wanting to, bring the game of poker to life. I fell in love with it really early on, and I think I share a little bit with you guys in terms of just bringing the game to life. And I'd throw to you guys, I mentioned a big upcoming summer for BetMGM, but also poker in general. We'll get to the BetMGM side. What are your guys' plans for this summer? Anthony, we spoke about some Vegas plans. Brian, what about you? Like, where are your heads at in terms of East Coast poker scene, Vegas poker scene? You guys are just as excited as I am, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we we're pretty I want to say we're pretty rough around the edges when it comes to the East Coast poker, because we're very demanding. We're so for a while we have been talking about when's poker coming back to Borgata, when's poker coming back to the East Coast. And so we had been saying this for a while, talking to a lot of people. And so I know Brian was talking about a little bit before, but we were very, very excited to hear about the return. Just leading up to that, if you guys don't know at home, if you're listening, Borgata started off with January. It was a merger, I guess, between BetMGM and Borgata, and it was a huge event, which I had some pretty good success in myself, so I can't complain there. But we were very hyped about that coming back. Me and Brian Borgata is I consider my home field. I've been playing there. Literally, me and Brian have been playing at Borgata since the day it opened. I think we were playing
awesome.
back in the basement when I think it's the food cafeteria now, whatever it is. But me and Brian were playing, I think 2003 or 2004 when it first opened. We were down there in the basement grinding it out like a bunch of nerds, So to hear that it was coming back, we were super excited. Now let me ask you that. I mean, we're excited about what's coming up, but how did that happen? How did the return? Did you guys finally say all right, we need a series, or what's going on? Because there was a while after COVID where it was, people were saying they don't have enough dealers, they don't have enough room, they don't have this. So we were curious, kind of what took so long in that process to get to that point.
Yeah, well, first off, I think there were a lot of players just like you and Brian that were, left wondering for, maybe longer than some would have liked, what is going to be the state of East Coast poker, big tournament poker? Where do we look towards that? In the past, it's always been Borgata, right? So I think Borgata did a really good job of timing their comeback, their return when they were ready, when, maybe a little slower than some players would have liked, like you said, Anthony. But when they did come back, they did it the right way. I'll start off first off. Congratulations on your mystery bounty poll. I'm sure you're still mentioning that whenever we can, like we are right now.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, what a start to the year for you, but what a start to the year for Borgata, because I really felt it was the perfect way to start the new year, bring it back with the return. Borgata crowned the first poker millionaire of 2023, really established themselves as an East Coast poker destination again at, like you mentioned, Anthony, a high price point that built an amazing field, an amazing prize pool. And the best part is we get to follow that up right around the corner. But I think Borgata's response post-COVID, it's been strong, and admittedly, it's allowed us from a BetMGM side of things to find ways to work with property like we would have never before done had there not been the pandemic. So a lot of these things that we're seeing post-pandemic that are combining these online and live brands weren't even really thought of pre-pandemic. So I can't speak much to the future schedule, but super excited, super happy with how Borgata brought big tournament poker back, and BetMGM will be there to assist, support, partner, whether that's online qualifiers, online registration, or just marketing these events that Borgata has planned. The sky's the limit, and I'm happy to say that, East Coast poker is back in a big way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. Here's one thing, and I'll be honest with it across the board, is that I've been preaching it forever, and it was so mind-boggling. The one thing I love to see is that BetMGM is actually working with the casino. Like, I talked to a lot of other casinos where the digital side of thing and the brick and mortar are like foreign affairs, and it's like, you guys are working for the same company up top, and you guys don't even talk. Like, they have no idea what's going on here. I mean, I'm not going to name the brands, but you know what they are, and it drives me mad. So when I see that you guys are doing like common sense things, like, we're going to do an online qualifier so you can win an event at the casino, it's like, this is common sense, and you guys are just doing what should be done, and it's working obviously to your benefit, because you're just taking that common sense route and be like, we're working for the same team here. Let's connect the dots. There's online players, live players. Let's connect them and make it happen. And so, we're not, just so everyone knows at home, we're not getting paid to say this. This isn't a paid sponsorship. I'm being honest. Like, it drives me mad when I see other sites and online stuff. It's like, why aren't we doing it? So I am super thrilled to see that you guys are taking that in the right direction.
No, I appreciate it. And I do think that, like I said at the beginning, the pandemic coming back from it has allowed both teams to be a little bit more exploratory with their ideas and what they want to do. And from a Borgata team standpoint, Vinny, Kelly, Kenny, Alex, the entire team, they've really given us the ability to create and work with them to, like you said, mesh these teams, these brands that should be connected. And at the end of it, everything we do is to elevate the player experience, whether it's a live player getting incorporated into the online space, or an online player getting an opportunity to play in the live space. I don't know about you guys, but you're talking about 20 years ago when the Borgata opened. I think back to 20 years ago, maybe Poker Boom, Chris Moneymaker. What did he do? He won an online satellite to play in the biggest tournament in the world and beat the best players, and then changed poker forever. So I know that it's a very kind of simple or shallow view of online poker, but I've always thought that that's really something that captivates audiences, gets people involved in poker at certain levels that they wouldn't be able to otherwise do without online poker. So just to have that ability to make those connections, give players the opportunities, Almighty, Vegas, whatever it might be, anything in the future, Borgata, BetMGM, MGM, and BetMGM, we're trying to do it the right way, and I appreciate you noticing that, Anthony.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off what you just said, I mean, Anthony, he plays some of the bigger buy-in events. I do from time to time. But the thing that I love the most about this merger, and Anthony kind of highlighted on it, but is you make it affordable for people to step their way into the bigger buy-in events. And it's not like you have to actually get in your car, drive to the casino, and be present there in person. Like, you can win from a $5 satellite all the way up to the bigger buy-in, the main event or whatever it is from, your own home. And that's like, Anthony doesn't want to badmouth anyone else, but that's not available on other sites. And like, it's notable to you guys that you're recognizing that there are those little fish out there, the people that don't have the big bankrolls, that don't have the money to put up for, the $2,200 buy-in or the $3,500 buy-in or whatever. And you're giving them an opportunity to win like an entire package where they have nothing to worry about but showing up and just pretty much saying, this is me, I won this, and now they have a place to stay, a place to lay their head if they make it deep. So like, kudos to you guys for I guess kind of like recognizing that there are those people who can't tap Mac or go into their bank accounts and shell out that big money, and you're giving the little guys an opportunity to segue their way into potentially some big prizes if they make a deep run. So
I like the tap off Brian just said there. I like that you guys do a package, because other sites, and I will throw that out there, let's say you win to their big event and they just give you the 10,000 and then that's it. But guess what? You still got to pay the airfare. You still got to pay the hotel. You still got to pay the food. Like it, and you might have to get a babysitter, or you got to, your wife or husband back at home. You got to give them some money to take care of stuff, so that you guys do a little package when you do these things. I love that. I think that's genius. I think, it's, hey, if I don't got to pay airfare, I got a hotel and I got some money for food, like we're doing, what I mean? Like, I think that's, again, common sense stuff, and you guys are just putting it in motion. And I hope you guys continue that kind of stuff, because it makes it not only just a tournament buy-in, but it makes it an actual experience. You get the whole experience, the hotel and the whole 9 out of it. And, I know you guys did some like VIP stuff before and things like little meetups and stuff like that. So it's like, that makes it an experience for things like that. And, I consider ourselves, me and Brian are recreational to the fact that we do have full-time jobs. And, we can't do this 24/7, unfortunately, like some of the pros. But, there's a lot of guys like us that take the game very seriously. They want to go away for the weekend, to get out of the house for the weekend and, have an experience and come back and tell their friends like, hey, man, I just did this. And even if they lose, they're like, all right, well, I spent $200 and I just got this whole experience.
Yeah, it cost me $10. And sometimes, I mean, like, not for nothing, we love it when there's like that spin, like the wheel, you got the wheel up there, you play for you pick a card, you might win like a 215 Saturday ticket or whatever. Like, there's so many options available to guys playing where you really put a little bit up front, and if you get lucky, hit lightning in a bottle, or get lucky on one of the spins or whatever, you've spent nothing and you've got a shot to potentially win, like I said, some major money. So it's cool, man. Kudos to you guys, for real.
No, we're trying to do the right thing, working with these partners, working with properties, but also, like I said, for the players. And the cool thing about what we're doing for Almighty, and we can go back to the return very quickly. If you guys remember, that was a $5,300 buy-in. That's big money, no matter whether we're talking Vegas, Florida, East Coast. Like $5,300 recreational pros, that's a heavy buy-in point. And this Almighty tournament, $800 buy-in. I think the price point, way more attainable, obviously, but I think hits the demo that we're talking about. Those players that want to try to hit lightning in the bottle, satellite in for $2, $5, whatever it may be, a spin of a promotional wheel. And I think that really captures the excitement of it, where, maybe not so much during the return, because that was a little bit of a heavier buy-in, like I said. But last year during our Vegas event, there were a handful of players that made their way. They got a free $20 ticket via email, and then they won 3 tournaments, and all of a sudden they're playing in a 3,500 in Vegas, 6-night stay at the Aria. Life is good, Brian, when you're running that well. So that is the dream. That's what we're trying to make happen. And like I said, with the Almighty, to start off, like that more attainable price point, we can now award more seats, more packages to players. And we're already seeing some people, win their way from all 3 of our markets in the U.S., which is super exciting. I know New Jersey, it's really close to home. People know Borgata, but trying to then build that Borgata MGM brand in PA, in Michigan as well. So looking forward to have all those 3 states converge on the Almighty at Borgata. Tell me, guys, will you guys be in the mix? Will you guys be playing?
Yes.